Okay, everybody, settle in, get your popcorn, get your coffee to keep yourself awake, because this part is literally nothing but 47 minutes of boring cutscenes of exposition of stuff we already know,
So
for the
it's
most
gonna
part.
be more or less boring than the EA conference we just saw this year in 18.
And now
Hey!
this part is dated. Good job,
Well,
Joey.
all of them were. At
All
some
of them
point,
are
so
dated,
whatever.
Pedro.
Dude, don't push me, okay? Jesus.
Hey, wait a minute, that's the dealer guy from Saz's DLC.
Yeah,
Basically, I
except
skipped-
here
basically, I
it's
skipped-
just an NPC, Joey.
Basically, I skipped the loading. I added out the loading screen for time.
Basically, Joey it's a false swap and
Wait, and suddenly Sarah? What?
I've been waiting.
Remember, Jova, God is showing
he's
Sarah
keeping her as an
to.
hostage.
Yeah, it's a little reminder of her prize, Jova.
Weird.
Who knows, he's such a trustworthy
It's
person.
weird because the story's been suggesting that Lightning doesn't even know if it's really her sister, but yet now all of a sudden we're seeing this vision of Sarah, even though I don't think we've ever seen a cutscene of this sort of thing before.
We haven't seen each other for so long, but
Hey.
I won't let on
I
that
mean,
you're glad.
look, why didn't we see more moments like this? Why are we only
Not
seeing
just
this
that,
now?
Jova, this sets up as a sore, heavy reminder that the entirety of 13.2 was just a waste of time. All that fighting, all that grinding, all those stupid side quests even, were ultimately pointless, and this very moment tells you that in your face.
What's even worse is that this spits into the face of the friendship message that 13 was setting up. Like, apparently Lightning did need to do it on her own. Because, you know, the first 13 game was trying to tell us that that was a bad thing. But no, apparently, according to this game, no. Do it on your own. That's the only way to get it done right, apparently.
But this time,
You know, for two characters that are supposed to be sisters, Lightning and Sarah have had little chemistry and little screen time with each other. throughout
But
this entire
Jova, don't you
trilogy.
know, God took away her empathy, and she's even saying what now? It's like whatever love I had for her,
Pedro,
God was love. There you go.
Pedro,
See.
I didn't say just for this game. I said over the entire trilogy.
Yeah, that's because the games barely had them interact.
The only ones we had were some flashback to Regiment 13 days.
And sometimes when they interact, it's a fake.
And even when they do interact in the first game, it's just them getting mad at each other because Lightning wanted a better present for her birthday.
Not just that, she was pissed about the fact that her sister was dating someone as no.
And then there was that time when the
It's
Super
rubbish.
Pope
This entire-
disguised
this
himself as Sarah.
This entire trilogy is rubbish. It's rubbish.
It's nothing but trash.
The more souls you save, the more erotic.
We
Don't we know this already?
hope.
I
For
mean,
the
that
fuck's sake.
that felt like straight up tutorial dialogue.
But they already told us this before.
And
He told us this in part 2.
We're nearly the end game.
Well,
That's why we're getting all this information
So what-
shoved down our throats.
so which day are
so
we
one
on?
of those symbols is a cardiogram thing.
So which day are we
Why?
on in the game, Pedro?
The 5th has ended. So we're between the 5th and the 6th.
So we have to wait till like the penultimate day to
Basically,
do the thing with the
let me just explain something
Remember,
real
the
quick.
Soulsong happened in the 13th one.
This part was already quite long, so I edited out the loading screens for short.
Thanks,
don't pretend you don't know what I'm talking about, okay?
you're still
You woke
pointless,
up from
Lumi.
your crystal
Actually, I
sleep
don't
with
need to
God's
pretend I
voice
don't
in
know
your
what
ear.
you're talking
He
about,
said you
because
had
I
to
really
be
don't
a
know what you're
savior.
talking about.
But part of what made you lightning was missing, leaving a big empty hole in your
What?
heart.
Let me guess. Lumina is the piece
Yes,
that
we
left
know.
that
We know
hole.
Lumina. God took away her empathy. We already discussed
It's
this.
so sad that Toriyama will try to revisit this concept in World of Final Abuse, Final Fantasy, but this time I do believe that in that case he actually succeeds in doing those.
It's like we
Guess
say.
they just don't work with his wife.
Like we say, Toriyama can actually be a good writer.
Oh, here's the flashback for
You
those
just
who
need
haven't
to
played
leave.
for. Here's
The
the
DLC.
flashback for those who haven't played the DLC of 13.2.
The paid DLC, mind you.
I will become
The true ending DLC,
Like,
just like
seri-
Majora's Wrath.
Seriously, imagine
memory
if,
will
in order to see
survive
the
for
true ending of
eternity
Kingdom Hearts, you had to
within
pay
a crystal
extra
tomb.
so you'd get why you saw the
Okay.
Swashbucks with Roxas.
This shall be my legacy.
Okay, granted,
and my
the upcoming story expansions of Nino Kuni 2 are being touted as the next chapter in the story, but the base game itself does have a proper conclusion. It's just it's kind of like a
I have no
quasi
problems.
sequel of sorts.
I have no
You know,
problems with
but
a story
there is
expansion.
an actual conclusion in the base game.
Oh,
It's not like
yeah.
it ends on a cliffhanger or anything like that.
Oh yeah, the problem is when a game kind of forces you to pay for something to actually make the game itself feel substantial.
Yeah,
Yes.
you remember
I
what?
remember
And you
now.
know what? And you know what? I'll give Final Fantasy 15 credit. While there is constantly
She was
DLC
there,
updates to patch
in
and
my
you know
heart.
story plot holes and whatnot, it's not like you have to pay for
I had
those
her
ones,
memories.
if
They
I
were
recall
inside me.
correctly.
You have only to pay for the character-specific
She
episodes.
was with me then. We should have been together the whole time.
Yes, you should have been. Then we could have actually gotten a reason why you two like each other. Like, seriously, for as much as I throw shade at the Mario's Missing game, Luigi in Mario's Missing has
you
more...
do know, Toyama, that you're just fueling terrible fanfictioners.
We know all this. Please, can we move on to some kind of
Wait,
new
hold on.
info?
Hold on, maybe we're getting something new now.
No,
we
that's
do
the
not.
problem. Like I said, Joe, but this is the big problem. Most of these cutscenes are redundancy incarnate.
Wait, hold on. So
Until he's
Bunavelza...
done what he
Hold on.
wants.
We've already established this, Cliff.
She mentioned something odd, though. Bunavelza could have messed with her memories. So, in that case, maybe... Wouldn't that mean that it's possible all the flashback stuff is utter
But he
lies, then?
promised me.
That's
But he
just
promised
a default
me.
structure,
He'd bring Sarah back to me. If he lied, then I don't care if he is a god. I'll destroy
Tips
him.
Fedora.
Yeah, those two are obviously the same people.
That's more like the old lightning. But do you really think
I mean,
you
come
can
on.
Not really.
Well,
But
I
whatever.
wouldn't bet
I mean,
against
I'm
me.
answering Lumina,
I
not
might
you,
have
Joe.
found a way to shut
Um,
him down. A last resort if all else fails.
So, yeah, Lightning.
growing up
If
contingency
Bunavelza is a god,
Lightning,
couldn't he possibly be hearing this plan
I
of
haven't
yours
made
right
up my
now?
mind yet.
No. Remember, Joe, we already established in part
Soon
two.
it'll
Alright,
be
he's
two?
sleeping.
And Bunavelza is the only one who
God
can
cannot
build
hear her
Lumina.
when she's inside her
Yeah,
mind.
Lumina manages to create like some shield that prevents.
Play his game for as long as
So-
So basically, what you're telling me is that so apparently this is a really this just overpower him.
Hope admits it through and through, but apparently Bunavelza is not omniscient.
I mean,
I
okay,
don't even
okay.
know why would he.
Then why
lie to
call
your
him
character.
God?
Okay.
Yeah.
I have nothing narratively against a god who can't do all the OP stuff you would expect a god to. The problem is that the story has been building Bunavelza up as this almighty god. Like, if you're gonna build someone up as an almighty god, either have it that they actually are that almighty god, or have it be a narrative plot point that people are more scared of them than they said actually should be.
Here's an idea, Toriyama. The people behind the Shin Megami Tensei franchise actually know how to write a god that's still omniscient and omnipotent, and still manages to get defeated by the bunch of protagonists one way or the other.
Heck,
Maybe
Final
take
Fa-
a cue from those games.
Heck, Final Fantasy X did this better. I mean, whether or not you like the game, at the very least, you could say that they handled the concept of people either worshipping or fearing a supposed god, like Sin. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not commenting on the actual quality of that story, but at the very least, you could feel a presence with Sin here and there. Like, Sin was literally the guy who you saw.
Well, the
wreck
thing is, Joe,
everything.
Sin slash Jack slash Yu Yevon slash Lady Unila, all those creatures basically. Those things actually had something to, some kind of build up to them, whereas Bunavelza is just kind of, you know, they just talk about them, but we never actually see it until the end. We never actually get proper explanation of what he is, what can he do.
Yeah. And again, let me remind you, we're only told that Bunavelza is a bad guy here because, again, so he's tasked Lightning with doing this, essentially saving people and saving her friends. Like, unless there's some evil secret sacrifice plot, which I'm guessing they'll probably pull in at the last minute of the time, but the plot has not really done that good a job hinting at him possibly being a bad guy, except going, maybe he's messing with your memories, or he's holding Sarah hostage, why doesn't he release her first? Well, you know, I hate to say it, but narratively speaking, Lightning is such a bad character that I could so well as easily say that he threatened Sarah because Lightning is that much of a hardhead that she wouldn't listen to him. That's how badly written a character Lightning is. Like, let's be quite honest. What has Lightning ever been motivated by except for Sarah? Just doing whatever she wants, essentially, until she realizes she's being stupid. Oh, and serving the goddess, but that was kind of a footnote in the grand scheme of
And it
things
was
when you
also
think
out of
about it.
nowhere.
So essentially, I could very much argue that the reason Bunavelza is threatening Sarah just to make sure that lightning doesn't screw things up, because, yeah, a lot of the first 13 game, in fact, the very first act, I dare say the first third of 13, is lightning flopping around doing the most stupid thing imaginable just to strike back at the system, because she don't care for no one except her sister who she thinks is gone forever.
Fuck the system, Jova. Fuck the system.
I mean, it's arguably even worse than Squall, and I don't say that lightly.
Squall was just an introvert asshole, sociopathic asshole.
Yeah, I mean, it says something when you make lightning worse than a sociopath, character-wise.
The problem,
anyway.
the big problem with writing characters like this, at least to me, is that, again, they're so utterly inhuman in their characterization that even if we could relate to them, we don't want to because they're terrible people.
Also,
Well, to be fair, Pedro, I never believed in the whole, relating to the character, which people use as an excuse to parade how great and magnificent Half-Life is.
wait,
I mean,
people found the characters from Half-Life relatable? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not
no,
gonna say...
that's the thing, Job. We say, oh, because Gordon Freeman doesn't speak and you see things through his eyes, you are Gordon Freeman.
That's
And
not so much being relatable,
that
that's more so...
makes a great game.
That's not so much being relatable, that's more like being a player avatar.
What I mean,
My point is, even without that, I know that this the barrier that separates me as the player and the character itself, something that Toby Fox apparently thinks it's very thin, but whatever.
Okay, I have to ask a plot question here. Okay. So we've established that Bunavelza can't read Lightning's thoughts. Okay, fair enough. Why is Lightning telling Hope out here where Bunavelza pretty much could hear her then?
because lightning is stupid.
Yeah, she doesn't. She's not using her brain now.
Like, seriously, we just had a plot scene that actually does make sense for once, but then all of a sudden it's like the character thought, well, I'm just gonna do something that's clearly stupid here.
She looks so much like your sister. In any case,
Like, for all you know, Hope could be brainwashed by Bunavelza, which is, I guess, why he's speaking in this monotone voice.
Seriously, that was some of the worst. Again, once again, the exposition on that part was so terrible. The writer literally turned to you and said, "By the way, for now, Lumina's identity will remain a mystery. So get going." Like,
which is basically translation for, we're gonna reveal it eventually, but...
Was this game written by a human being?
No, I don't think so. It's literally
like a machine is giving me instructions on how I should react to the story.
Maybe
it's the same race of aliens of which Mark Zuckerberg is part of, as
I guess
that
maybe
conference where he's awkwardly drinking a glass of water.
No, wait, guys, I get it now. Maybe the Fauci were just really salty about losing the war, so they wrote this to torture us humans. So now it's just about go to the next day, because there's not much else to do.
Much.
Yeah, well, remember, like I've said, you can do side quests to spend your time, but again, since I don't need to, I'm just gonna keep spending days in the inn.
True, I get
but
that.
But Pedro, what about
quest? Jesus Christ!
I've already done the dog side quest too.
But not the one that shows us the dog close and personal.
No, we did save Lost Dog. We did.
He's talking about the one where we see it up close and personal. You know, the one in that infamous screenshot.
There is a side quest with a cutscene that shows it close and personal.
No, we did do that cutscene too. The problem is that sometimes it closes up on the dog, sometimes it doesn't. It's random. That's the problem.
Wait.
By doing multiple playthroughs, I've discovered this.
You're telling me that a pre-recorded...
It's the advantage too of playing this game more than any human being should. Oh wait, it's cutscene.
You're telling me that in a pre-recorded, in-game footage cutscene, the camera angles are inconsistent.
Oh, I think it's time for... Oh,
there you are.
More Sarah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The game still thinks we care about Sarah.
So, again, just starting with, like, when we're down to 4 days left, now...
Hold on, I actually want to comment on this cutscene.
I was about to finish.
I can't help but worry. We're finally getting
Go
a
ahead,
chance to
quick.
talk, but you
So,
don't seem
only
happy.
just now, starting with that last day, we're gonna have these Sarah monologues out of nowhere.
Okay,
Derpiness.
Sarah, we've been through this. Sarah, we've been through this. God took away our empathy. Please don't have us explain this all over again.
Did you guys see
Please.
that? Did you guys see that face Lightning made? You went like, God, we went through this already. It's like that was
It's not
like.
just that, Jova. It's not even just that, Jova. They're literally saying the exact same thing. Lightning, you need to smile. You need to go back to the way we were. It's literally the exact same cutscene. It's literally the exact same cutscene as the previous Sarah cutscene. And no, fuck you, Toriyama. Just because you show me stock footage from the first game, that doesn't change the fact that they're literally talking about the same thing.
Like,
Sorry.
Snow being punched is always a good thing to see, but it's not enough.
I honestly have to wonder, was the motion caption actress herself aware of how much they were repeating that stuff? Because that's what that glance from Lightning looked like. It was like a glance
Well, it
of...
surprised me, Jova.
It's like a glance of, oh god, I said yes to this. Oh wait, no, let me get back into character.
I think even seriously, the exposition writing in this game, I think even M. Night Shyamalan would tell you that okay, you need to calm down and.
But here's the weirdest thing. But here's the weirdest thing about that glance she gave. It completely contradicts the idea that she has her emotion stripped from her, because that was clearly an emotional glance. So either the motion caption actress messed up, or that was them programming in a plot hole there.
Listen, Sarah. Let me say this.
Say what?
No.
If that journey was a mistake, I'm the one who has to bear the blame.
Once again, like Taylor said, the game is literally admitting that 13-2 was a mistake.
And also,
Oh wait, hold on. Was she talking about the first 13 game?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, Jova.
What?
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
really?
Didn't turn out like I'd hoped.
Now, a quick question. Do
But
they
it
actually
wasn't a
mocap
mistake.
the faces for this game,
You
though?
tried to do
Yes,
Yes, they do.
and right.
I don't know. Considering the low budget of this game, I wouldn't be surprised if the faces were hand animated.
Yeah, they're motion
I
captured.
mean,
Well, I'm just
I mean-
thinking because of your comment about the emotional expression. It's like, was that deliberately animated, or did the actress just do that?
Again.
I don't know how Santa Monica and Guerrilla Games do it, but Naughty Dog in particular, they prefer to animate the faces themselves.
No,
because-
Pedro, at least I can tell you Guerrilla did mocap,
Yeah.
because that's actually was one of the complaints, the fact that the faces look too uncanny valley because of that.
Yeah, they should take a page from Naughty Dog, where Naughty Dog prefers to do the face animations themselves, because that way they can properly, not have the limitations of the mocap.
That couldn't be right.
They still do motion capture though.
No, they do the body mocap, Joe, but they've said various times in the behind-the-scenes stuff that they prefer to do the facial animations by hand. That's what they say.
Well, true, that's their preference, but they sometimes also do motion capture for the face too.
True, but considering how absolutely gorgeous Uncharted 4 looks, I think they might be onto something with that method, honestly.
Anyway, yes, I can confirm there is motion capture for this trilogy, though I don't know if they did motion capture for this game in particular.
Well, we know that there's mocap for the body at the very least.
And facial
it's the
capture.
Okay, it's not that it matters. The cutscenes still look like garbage anyway.
Oh, I know, but Shuri was asking me because, again, I was commenting on Lightning's facial expression. Again,
by the way,
that facial expression from
sorry.
Lightning reminded me of, when Nathan in Beyond Two Souls does that weird yawning gasm mouth thing, because, again,
By the way,
that was
Shuri,
taken during a blooper session, so I honestly had to wonder if Lightning's motion caption actress, if there was one for Lightning Returns and they didn't just reuse the motion captured assets from the previous games, actually did that because she realized how repetitive the dialogue was, because that's what it felt like Lightning was conveying with that, which also contradicts the notion of Lightning not being able to emote.
Are you saying that when he resurrects Sarah...
By the way, Shiro, in case you didn't get it, allow me to basically sum up one of my favorite bad expositions moments in this game. Basically, Shiro, what Oat basically did, in case you didn't see my joke there with the Spaceballs clip, was... basically, this is it. This is what the game is literally doing. It's literally turning to you and saying, by the way, Lumina's identity will remain a mystery for now, so just keep going and you'll eventually figure it out.
If you have to explain the joke, then there is no joke!
Well, in this case, if you...
It's not
Well,
even
it's not
a
a-
joke, Jova, and even if it was, it's not funny.
It's like... again,
I'm not talking about the game.
I'm honestly starting to wonder if this man is a human being.
But if the Sarah he's showing you isn't real,
Like,
then that control
I mean, he should... I mean...
Are we seriously discussing about just a vision?
So basically, if the Sarah we're seeing is not real, then that means Budenvelza has no control. Okay, so, but what does it matter
so what's
then?
the point of anything?
I mean, because from what we know, only Bunavelza can bring Sarah back occasionally, so what does it matter?
When you make a story with such complete lack of humanity in it, nobody can possibly relate to it because it's so uninviting. Like, ugh.
Long loading screen is long.
Yeah, that's why I had edited out some of them because
Wait, you
I
edited
think
them out? I couldn't tell.
It's because if I remember correctly, the original recording was like.
Okay.
Like that.
It's official. That loading time sequence was longer than a typical Sonic 06 loading time sequence.
Oh no, joke. We already did that joke.
No, wait,
I don't know if Tail remembers it.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Before the patch.
Again, I'm still yet to be convinced that there's a patch for Sonic 06 because I've never found one on my 360. I never found one on my PS3. So I have yet to be convinced of this patch's existence. But anyway,
else on the internet reports it, so.
Well, Jova, I can tell you that on my 360, I have yet to see a patch.
Maybe it's a bug like that SharePlay thing with Detroit.
I don't know. Like the
yeah,
point
did you tell
is
you about that bug?
Later, Jova. It's off topic. The point is,
We're
again,
loading again.
It's one of those things. Okay, I don't know if you remember, Teo, but back when Lightning Returns was, we were kind of going through the quote-unquote hype period for this game.
Wait! Oh my god! Was that phone thing? Like, and that screen looked like something from a smartphone screen.
Nice work, Light.
I don't know, Jova.
Motorola. Anyway, sorry about that. Go on.
I think Jova wasn't even at SSMB at the time when it happened, but basically, I don't know if you remember, Teo. Remember when I posted on the Lightning Saga topic, and when I posted some footage from a Japanese demo where they showed the full loading screen, and I literally joked about how the loading time literally 1 minute, and I literally made a joke about how you can literally fit 3 Sonic 06 load times into this.
Question: what year was that?
2013.
What month?
I think it's September or October. Like the game
Okay,
came out.
now what day?
Then I had okay. In that case, yes, I was on SSMB by then because I
Was it
joined
a rainy
SSMB.
or a sunny day?
Basically, I made it. I think Teo was already following that topic by that point, but I made a joke about how you. Basically, I made a joke on the topic about how you can literally fit 3 Sonic 06 load times into 1 Lightning Returns load time. Although to be fair, maybe the guys playing the demo didn't do the installation, the optional installation thingy.
Well, it's a
Maybe
shame
that was-
because these loading sequences still suck. So
Yeah, it's the lack of polish. Remember, this game was kind of rushed out the door.
again, Sonic 06 was essentially a beta given to us.
Oh,
publicly.
great!
This is supposed to be official.
This girl, she's got something she wants to
Okay,
ask.
do we actually have something new to say about?
What girl? Are you talking about that shadow?
It's Sarah, isn't it?
Yep, and guess
Also,
what?
the frame rate. It's actually not, Jova.
Yeah.
Okay, you can come out.
But who else could it possibly
Come on.
be?
Come out now. How are you?
Well,
Why you again?
Yule.
There are people here.
even with
Who-
with the discount songs of the ancient. Oh,
Whoa,
the fuck?
frame rate.
Huh? Hold on. What's going on?
What?
A woman is
How
singing.
did you see that? They want to lend a helping hand, but you're too far.
What?
Don't you see, guys? It's a metaphor for the fact that you can only play as Lightning in this game.
I'm not looking for help from anybody.
That's too much credit for this game, but that's
Oh,
kind
the
of what it
action,
ends up
like,
being.
so
You
fucking
like
edgy
Xavier,
in this
right?
game.
You don't need friends or even family. That's why you can't find Sarah anymore.
Okay,
Already
just gonna say this right now.
talk
Listen,
about this.
Just gonna say this right now. This would have been a better plot development for Lightning to have had in the first 13 game when she was, a loner. Like, she's kind of at free games and she's kind of a different character than she was before. I mean, in 13-2, Lightning didn't even want to leave them. She was kind of forced into a situation. So why are they going about this like Lightning still has that loner issue? This is like if Cloud supposedly was confronted with still being a loner after the second disc. It's kind of a bit late for that, guys.
Hey, Tail, did you know that Lightning has lost her empathy? You know, just in case you forgot, because, you know, you might have missed it.
Honestly, Pedro, the game's not even conveying her losing her empathy, because again, she's clearly acting emotional, even though supposedly God took care of her emotions.
Well, yeah, but earlier Lumina was saying something about, oh, you can't see, they can't help you because you're so far away, as in, you know, you're closed off and shit, lack of empathy and shit.
Listen to her. She always tells the
Even
truth.
though, again, she's been clearly...
No, actually, no, Lumina. She doesn't always tell the truth. We literally spent an entire plot with Kaios explaining that she doesn't.
Yeah.
Remember, as far as we knew at the end of 13-2, she was secretly evil.
Yeah? Haven't you figured it out?
Game, could you please get your fucking story straight?
I swear.
Oh, what am I
sometimes
talking about?
lose
It's
my
something.
faith in
We
you.
haven't get your
You
straight.
did it.
About your own soul, but you think you can fight God himself.
Again,
I don't
Teach
think I've ever
Fedora.
met anyone so dense.
If you
Again,
know it
where
all,
was
then
the
tell me.
dialogue
Pointing
for
out,
Again, where
pointing
was
out
the
your own problems doesn't make it go away.
Again, where
It
was this
doesn't
dialogue
work
for the
like
first
that.
13
It doesn't mean
game?
a thing if you can't figure it out on your own.
Remember, Jova, these sequels were made to punish the people who didn't understand Toriyama's genius vision.
Myself.
Honestly, at this point, I don't think it's even that, because it doesn't even seem like it's smart enough to be geared to that. This just feels like they're throwing stuff that they should have put in the first 13 game. Specifically with this stuff, anyway.
Again, these circle thingies should be gone by now, but whatever.
So what's next?
What? Can you hear me?
At least we don't have to go through them.
By the way, Shiroi, did you know that Lightning has lost her empathy?
Look,
Just thought I'd remind you. You know, because the game hasn't done a good enough job ramming that into your fucking head!
Okay.
So I figured you would need a reminder.
Okay, Pedro, let's not stoop to the game's lows here.
Alright, dude.
So, question, why would Lightning be hurt if she was just in her mind? Like, I mean, this isn't like we're coming back from a mission or anything, this was literally something inside Lightning's mind. Why are they treating it like she's physically out there? Unless minds are now something you can physically go into now with this ever so depressing world. Let me guess, explained in a Japanese exclusive novel.
Sorry,
Please
what
tell-
specific Jova?
Us
Could
being
you ask
able
that
to
again, Joe?
supposedly physically go into minds to the point where they're in danger because Soap is acting like Lightning's in danger, even though literally the last scene was her in her mind.
No, I can tell you that it's not a thing they tackle.
So that was just the
Also,
game being
Pedro,
random
Yes,
and stupid.
Ashira?
Oh, no, go ahead, Shiroi.
And just to say, yes, I am aware. Unfortunately, Discord has been muting my microphone for me for some reason.
Have you accidentally been pressing it again?
Discord is
No, it's that one thing where you're talking, but there's no green light or anything.
Discord is
Oh.
becoming sentient.
Yes.
It's been attacking me all evening, so yes, I am aware of everything
It's
that's
attack-
going on.
Discord is attacking Shiroi's family or
That's-
something. Anyway,
It happened to
hey,
me before, but yeah.
it's okay.
Well, sure, here's the thing. Are you using Discord on mobile?
No.
Wait, I thought you...
Also-
Oh, right, you
Why?
watch your videos on
Why is
mobile.
it that every time I pay to stay in your fucking ear and you push the hell out of me? Why?
Oh.
You hate me?
I think it does hate you, because you're saying horrible things.
Well, if this game stopped being terrible, then I wouldn't say terrible things about it, now would I?
Also, Shiroi, which mic are you using?
I really doubt that makes any difference.
Your answer.
Oh, there it is. There you go. Hold on. Oh no, it's this cutscene. Out of
Oh,
nowhere,
whoa, Sid?
from the first game.
Weren't you dead? Like, deader than dead? Like, you got...
Yeah,
actually-
apparently this is a representation. Basically, it's the spirit of
There you go,
chaos
he's explaining now,
taking
he's
a
explaining
form
now.
that's convenient to you.
So, if you're nothing more than this puppet, why are you talking to us? Am I-
AKA, we couldn't really come up with an actual new character to explain this, and we were already tired of using Lumina, So, Sid. There you go. We need to have a Sid in every game, so...
So let me
here you
get
go.
this straight. This is not the Sid we know, but this is the Sid who speaks for the dead and is the voice for all the dead, so... I guess God decided, hey, I'm gonna make a copy of this random guy, not even the real guy, but he'll be the speaker for all the dead because they will speak through him.
Allow me to voice your reaction, audience. There you go.
What truth?
Also, you know, that's the post Pedro was referring to.
Oh,
Like,
let me...
how many Sonic 06 loading times of feeding Lightning Returns load time? 3.
Wait. Hold on. So, see, it turns out, Chaos was actually saving us even though it destroyed the world.
Again, Jova, that's the thing. Chaos is not an entity. It's just this
I know.
state of souls. It's awkward as fuck.
Again, Theo, Chaos was the darkness that swept over and supposedly threw humanity into chaos, but according to not Sid here, apparently it will also be the thing that saves us. So, it's basically the games where we're saying that we need chaos to survive, sort of like light and dark, balance, and all that.
All that mumbo jumbo.
Our souls are
We-
made of the
This
chaos.
music is
Why
unfitting.
we return
can-
to it when
can-
we die.
To be fair, we've not been told about our souls being made of chaos, as stupid as that
Actually,
is.
we have.
You
We
are
have,
reborn
Jova,
in a
actually.
new
We
world.
have.
I guess I forgot that one. I guess that's when they have.
No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. This game has so much convoluted the bullshit is piling up too fast. We're gonna need bigger shovels. Tail, bring bigger shovels.
Vanille can bring salvation
Steal
to
by
the dead.
shovel.
Okay, Jova,
Wait,
here, I
hold
guess
on.
it's up to...
The Order has kept the truth from her.
Oh, we're finally gonna get some answers.
They preach salvation.
Only for the living. The Soulsong will destroy us and make you forget we ever
For some reason.
But weren't we already all dead in this universe anyway?
You
remember the
you're already
soul-
kind of forgotten anyway.
Right?
Remember, the Soulsong is supposed to basically erase a huge quantity of chaos, which means it's more convenient for Bonivalze.
Is this what you all want?
It is.
Why...
If you
Why is
Okay,
it
but
such a...
why though?
Not just that, why is this even such a big problem for them? Because they're kind of already forgotten because they've been dead for so long anyway. Why do... Like, is it because they like living in the afterlife? Is that the problem? But, I mean, it's a bit too late to start establishing an afterlife in this universe, guys. We're literally at the final part of the third game.
The final game. Yeah, sure, again.
Yes.
Hi, so
know-
tired of this message of, oh, he just lives again in your heart. and all that
Again,
jazz.
You know, Matsuda-san, instead of keeping him in Mobius, just fire him altogether.
Oh,
There you
no,
go.
no, trust me. For now, he's doing a decent job in Mobius, so might as well. If
Yeah.
something positive can come out of it, might as well.
By all means.
Yes.
If you want to make the power yours,
I mean, yeah, I will never forget. Motomo Tsurayama is capable of good. Like, if you can just get him doing what he does good, keep him on
And you
board.
keep him on a very tight leash.
Jova, don't forget that this guy nearly single-handedly killed this franchise. I mean, like it didn't become Sonic 06 bad, but it came close.
No, it was worse than 06. Gonna be quite honest.
No. I don't mean in terms of quality of the game itself. I'm talking about
life and death.
in terms of how much of the reputation of the franchise in the mainstream it destroyed.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I'd still
Because,
say
uh,
worse than
bec-
06.
Because
Ah,
very
geez.
few people, because there are still a lot of people, like Pro Jared included. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Pro Jared, but I really wish he would, you know,
Get over it. Yeah, we
get over it.
This.
It's again, there's a lot of people still who will refuse to acknowledge any of Square Enix's recent good games because the 13 trilogy happened. It's a
So-
similar case with Sonic 06. You know, Sonic 06 happened, therefore every single Sonic game now is bad.
Honestly, it's even worse than 06 in that case. I mean, with 06, people thought the series was gonna go on ice, but they still at least acknowledged that past games were good. They just wondered what the happened with 06, because the major consensus with 06 is that it was screwing up the formula. Lightning Returns, still to this day, has an effect badly, because here's the thing, Square Enix's projects are still incredibly big budgeted, and I can't blame people for still being apprehensive, because when you have a company that wastes not one, not two, not just 3 games, but essentially the entire generation, console generation.
Reminder that the original 14 was a pile of garbage. Reminder that, reminder that Nier barely got marketed, the first one, I mean.
And Square had a lot of other problems with their Western
Let's trace
devs.
even back. Let's reminder that Monolith Studio almost got killed before it actually went, before I had a chance to shine because of Final Fantasy VIII, and they only survived because Namco Bandai hired them.
And then the destruction of the world will be complete.
Right.
It's
No
it's
way I
actually
can delay it any longer. That's totally not a specific contradiction or anything.
it's also more complicated than that, Joe. But see, for as terrible as Sonic 06 was, it was still a Sonic game at its core. It was a terrible Sonic game, but a Sonic game nonetheless. Final Fantasy 14, I would argue, it's not even a proper Final Fantasy game. Like, it's just, it eliminates so many. It's like if, again, making a Final Fantasy game that's like Final Fantasy 14 is like making a Sonic. Well, it's like Sonic Labyrinth. You know, you're taking away a lot of the identity of the franchise. That, the game is Final Fantasy 14 practically rejects its heritage. It's like, but go ahead.
I guess, to be fair, what makes a Final Fantasy game has kind of become skewed to the point where we now have action RPG as opposed to typical turn-based stuff with Final Fantasy, so I'm not quite sure if I'm the best poised to say that this isn't a Final Fantasy game, because at this point, what makes a Final...
Go ahead, sorry.
I mean, granted. When it comes to Lightning Returns and 13-2, I guess I'd consider it not really a true Final Fantasy, if only for the sake that, well, there's really only one character and no party. Like, now that I consider not a staple. But with the first 13 game, I guess I'd consider it a bad Final Fantasy game because, again, at this point, Final Fantasy has done a lot of different things.
Yeah,
not all.
It's one of the primary reasons why I find, despite all of its, don't get me wrong, it's still a crap game in my eyes, but I still find Final Fantasy VIII to be the best of the bad Final Fantasy games, because at the very least, Final Fantasy VIII is bad, I think, in my opinion at least.
But then remembers at the very core how.
But at the very least, it ticks all the check boxes basically. Anyway, like, for example, let me put it like this, Joe. But here's how
wait, hold on. I think they're saying something important finally.
You could have found her already, but
It's just, again, Hope explaining what you already know.
Wait, hold on. Hope's actually being helpful to us, but why? I mean, couldn't he just as easily be working for or brainwashed by Bunavelza?
Don't worry, Joe. We're going to address this later in the part.
Seriously, his last battle dialogue, and by that I mean the talk with Sarah part 3, literally has him saying, "Don't worry, I'm always on your side." It's like, yeah, that's totally not a setup for a fake out or anything.
Totally, it's for me, Mom.
Oh, another promise.
I'll make you a promise.
It's like, okay, let me put it like this, Jova. In my eyes, Jova, a Final Fantasy game is characterized. You know, okay, let me put it like this. You know how typically Sonic fans define a Sonic game as a combination of speed, platforming, and exploration, right? Those are the 3 basic core elements.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, the equivalent of that for Final Fantasy, at least to me, at least, I don't know if Teo will agree or disagree, but would be a combination of combat, exploration, and story. And by story, I'm including also characters, lore, all that party stuff, which is why I don't particularly, which is why even though technically it's a setback, I didn't particularly was distraught by the lack of a proper party in the original release of 15, because at the very least it remembered to get the other stuff right at the very least. And the problem with 15 is, well, it cut off exploration entirely. There's literally no exploration in Final Fantasy. And no, before anyone mentions Grand Pulse.
Hold on. I thought Final Fantasy 15 brought that back.
I'm talking about 13 right now. Sorry.
You said 15.
Apologies.
Oh boy, and now the Final Fantasy 15 fanbase is gonna come after you with
Truly, what I continue, Pedro.
Final Fantasy 14 cut off exploration entirely.
You said it again!
No, he said 13, Jova.
No, he said 15. Whatever.
Whatever. Point being, the 13 saga, at least the first chapter in the 13 saga cut off exploration. The argument, I guess, would be the archetype step, but sorry, it's not really that.
Grand Pulse, there's nothing to do in Grand Pulse. Like, it's just a big, empty area with nothing in it.
No, I mean,
That's it.
there are the side quests, but they're just simple hunting missions, and that's it.
That's the thing. Okay, which would be fine if the game was fun to play, but it isn't. I mean, you can have good fetch. See, even Ni no Kuni 2 and even Nier Automata, which are two games that pride themselves on having story meat in their side quests. Even those games eventually.
What? Hope just literally asked when we say vanilla, what'll happen to me? So wait, so Hope is aware that he's kind of a pawn in all
I
this,
have no idea.
and he just asked what'll happen to my soul. So
Don't worry, Joe. That was just a lead in into the cutscene we're about to watch right now. So you're about to get your answer anyway.
Alright then.
Okay.
again, I'm confused. Is he supposed to be monotone? Is he supposed to be a puppet or something? Like he says,
He's
what'll
been
happen to my
monotone throughout
soul?
This entire thing, Jova.
Let's put it like this, Jova. Whatever he's supposed to be, he's failing at it. There you go.
Or succeeding because we
At
don't
this
know
point,
what.
he's just a very shit narrator.
So maybe he's supposed to be one who misleads us, and that would be giving the game too much.
I wish we
credit.
had the narrator of George of the Jungle in here. Hey, couldn't you say something useful? Why won't you help us? Because I don't like you.
That's very appropriate for Hope.
When Lightning saw the Yggdrasil tree, she answered in awe. And Lightning's like, aw. No, I meant awe. A-W-E.
But
Oh.
she can't emote. She couldn't even look at something at all.
There you go, Joe. Basically, Hope is now going through an existential crisis.
Oh, aren't those fun?
This kind of comes out of nowhere.
And
It's-
look at that! Lightning is clearly acting emotional again. And no, that's right. Lightning
Okay,
has...
Jova, remember, I already come up with a theory like this. I'm genuinely convinced that the whole loss of empathy, removing empathy thing was literally wrote in at the last minute in the script.
Oh yeah.
I'm
yeah,
genuinely
yeah.
convinced.
Oh yeah. It's like I theorized in an earlier part. The reason they said that she has lack of emotions is to excuse her lack of facial animations in the overworld.
And the soulless way that Ali Hellas delivers her lines. Ali, you deserve better. Please never. Well, actually, she's still doing work for any Lightning appearance in World. So I guess. But then again, but at the very least, she's better written there.
So even though Hope was acting all monotone, now he's actually acting, well, like he can act. So I have no idea what the heck is going on.
Here's the problem, though. This is not the Hope from the first game or even the second game. It's a fake Hope. Therefore, I don't have any reason to care about this.
Oh, so it's a
Maybe
fake Hope.
Lightning is just faint.
Hell, even if it was the real Hope, I still wouldn't care because I hate Hope. So.
I have no hope for this.
Wait, so this
You know
is
what's interesting, Shiroi?
Yeah.
You know that triumphant theme of Ni no Kuni 2 that plays, like for example, when we finished Gold, when we started building our kingdom, and you know we had that. Basically, every time we finish a chapter, the title of the song is "There Is Hope."
So
Maybe-
No,
maybe-
there is
maybe-
none to be found here.
So,
This
Maybe
game-
maybe if you played that song in here, it would help.
Right choice.
So wait, if this is a fake Hope, what was the point of that whole "will you be able to get my soul back" or anything?
That's the thing, Jova.
Oh, let me
they're
guess,
gonna-
it's a plot twist that this Hope is a fake Hope.
No. They're just saying it right now. But then there's gonna be another plot twist regarding Hope.
Well, of course, Lightning's probably gonna find some way to bring Hope back.
It's
Wait, oh!
Something's happened to my soul.
Potential
I can't see
violin.
people's hearts anymore, not even my sister.
But
I
yeah,
don't have a soul.
I still don't care, so I'll continue. Basically, I'll use Nier Automata as an example, since that's the one most people are familiar with right now. Nier Automata prides itself on having side quests that have a lot of story meat in their bones.
Oh,
But
wait,
even
hold on,
Nier
I have to
Automata-
comment on this.
I didn't trust
Go
Okay,
ahead.
so essentially the moral is never give up, and you won't give in to the darkness, essentially.
Oh god.
And from what I can understand, the chaos is essentially a physical manifestation of the afterlife. Essentially, because the chaos is now where the dead go to die, blah 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 blah. And yeah, apparently it's how the dead speak to people, and apparently they're talking about how we need the chaos to balance stuff out. So essentially chaos is darkness.
AKA meaningless shit that doesn't really mean anything, and you don't really need to know. Trust me, all of this is just nothing but a convoluted soup of shit.
Also,
that tastes like shit, smells like shit, and well, kind of looks like shit. So yeah.
Also, further on topic here, okay, so this is a fake Hope, yet How is he recalling all this to give her the rousing speech, and why?
But don't you see, Joe? That's because he's been inspired by her and he gains emotions.
Okay.
and,
Look, the Riku replica in Chain of Memories is a can of worms, yes, but all the same still. At least with the Riku replica actually helped out after Sora beat it and after a lot of bad stuff happened to it, thanks to Lark's scene and whatnot. So it made sense that the Riku replica was acting the way it was at that point. Here, though, this has been a fake Hope who's just been giving us orders from his computer desk, essentially. He's like an IT worker for Bunavelza. What development has he had?
He's the guy in the chair, as Spider-Man Homecoming would put it. I can be your guy in the chair.
Oh, no.
Gee, I wonder who's... Oh, never mind. I forgot.
So, was something interesting supposed to show up on screen there?
No.
Oh.
No, they're just keeping they're just blamming on that now Lightning is all alone.
So was it supposed to be a twist that Hope was fake or something?
But don't you know, Joventeo, this is a story of solitude. Don't you know? No, game, I don't care. Sorry.
I'll save you.
Are these people even worth saving?
No.
Why are you
Not
here?
really.
Why, of all people, are you here to provide
Basically,
us
the reason Mog shows up here is because we still need someone to be the shopkeeper.
Oh no.
Here's Mog.
Mog's going to be the one talking to us over the intercom, isn't he?
No, fortunately not. You'd think so, wouldn't you? But surprisingly, no.
Huh, so I guess this means from now on we get peace quite
My guess is, Joe, it's
tranquility.
because of the complaints people had with Mog in 13.2.
What are you doing here?
So did they make him better, as you know proper people
No,
would do?
of course not, Jova, because that would require Toriyama to have skill at something.
He does
And
have
also-
skills at some things. Again, the man has done better. Why is he doing so bad
You've got my
here?
back, right?
Because his waifu is more important.
Honestly,
Dude, Gelboru exists for a reason. Come
honestly, I wouldn't even get that inkling because Lightning has just been terrible, and people aren't even liking her. Like, you know, at least with the first 13
on. But
game.
Jova, the inspiring music is telling you to have hope.
Toriyama just needs a girlfriend. That's what
There
it is.
it-
But
Bloody girlfriend.
Masashi, you're trying way too hard, buddy. Oh, boy.
Amazu-san, yeah.
This
just to finish
soundtrack
off
really
my
did
thought.
deserve a better game.
Just to,
Seriously?
Oh my
This
goodness.
is Oscar made level of music.
Please.
Have mercy on us.
And
It's-
give us the Oscar.
Also, yes, Pedro.
just to clarify what Teo was saying about... See, here's the thing. Nier Automata is a JRPG, it's an action RPG that basically prides itself on having story meat to its side quest. And Kunio 2 as well. But those two games, even they sometimes have to have some like a quest or two here and there that can be basically summed up with go get this or go beat this monster.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
well, there's only so much stuff you can come up with, right? Sometimes it's but here's even those side quests can still be fun if the game itself, specifically the combat system and the exploration, are fun to play. The reason a basic non-story side quest in Nier Automata and Ni no Kuni 2 is fun is because the game is fun to play. The side quests in the original 13, even they could have been fun to play, even if without story, if the game was fun to play. But it's not. That's the problem right there. Same thing with, let's take 15 for example. 15 is an example. Most of the side quests in Final Fantasy 15 don't really have that much story to them, but they're just basic side quests. But the game is fun to play, therefore it's fun to do them. You see, this is simple. Basic JRPG design 101. I shouldn't be telling you this, Toriyama.
And
See you for the
Square
next
Enix at the
part.
time being, but yeah, we'll see you for the next part.
See you, everybody.
See ya.